is Pop Culture Yearbook. On this show, we pick pieces of pop culture that were important to us in a given year. We then discuss our memories and dig into those movies, albums, shows, and more. I'm Brad.
I am Pete.
And I'm Giff.
All right. And so last year in July, you guys remember what we did last year in July?
I don't remember what I had for breakfast this morning.
Oh, funny.
Actually, I had 2 bowls of Cheerios.
No, actually, it's funny you say that because
Must be
just today I
nice.
was talking to my wife about what did I do yesterday, and I had no clue, and she didn't either. It took us like 5 minutes to figure it out. So
We are getting old.
we are.
That's
But
part of the...
Gifford, do you remember what we did last July?
Was last July? That wasn't staycation, was it?
No, that was
That was 2 years ago.
I think,
So-
I think
no,
we're
I
going
don't
for
remember.
That's what we're doing
Second
here.
chance.
thought
I
we
think
were-
I'll
yes,
give you a
let's-
second
Oh,
chance.
second chance month.
Oh my God.
That's right. That's
So we-
right.
I was
kicked
with you the whole time, Brad.
Thank you, Pete. We kicked off the month by having the wonderful guys, Jason and Dee from Surely You Can't Be Serious on, and we talked about sequels of the 80s and 90s. You can go back a year and find that great episode. And then, if you haven't already found it, check out their show. It's fantastic. This year, we are going to do another sort of second chance month, but this is like nothing we've ever done before. This is exciting, guys.
It's crazy.
Interactive.
It's the least predictable episode ever.
It is. It is our least planned out, least predictable episode ever. So we're going to plan out our July tonight.
Well, first
We have no idea what we're doing. We assure you. But
And
first,
apparently-
I got to open the yearbook.
yes.
to
What
an
page,
unknown
what
page.
page in the yearbook is this?
It's unpredictable. We have no idea what page you're going to
I
tell.
don't
We're
know.
just flipping through. We're just
Look,
flipping through.
we're just like grabbing a page and opening it and see what page it lands on.
Yep,
Yeah.
and we're going to land on something good. Okay, so what we're going to do tonight is we're going to plan out our next 3 episodes. We've each brought 5 movies that we have not discussed on this show yet, that we think all
Yep.
3 of us loved and cared about and would want to discuss. We each picked 5 TV shows that we have not discussed on this show yet, and 5 albums of music that we have not yet discussed. And we are going to go around and share what we came up with and see what each person brought to the table. And then we are going to determine one show, one album, and one movie that we're going to discuss in the next 3 weeks.
Mhm.
Then everybody, there's an extra week this month. So we're going to also pick tonight, based on what we don't pick, after those 3 are chosen, we're each going to pick, like a second chance, one that didn't get picked that we're going to put into a poll onto all our social medias and have the listeners pick what we're going to talk about, given our choices, but they're going to pick which one we're going to do for the last week of July. So
You'll have to
it's
get out there and vote and then
Audience
we'll have to plan
interaction. I like it.
Oh boy.
this is exciting. It's new. It's scary, but it's going to be great.
I'm on the
We
edge of my
better
seat.
get some fans really quick.
Mhm.
So
That's right.
This
Start
is
with-
not going to work.
So we each made a list of 5 TV shows that we think were important to all of us in some way. And we're going to share those, and we're going to come up with the TV show we're going to discuss probably next week. We'll probably end up doing these in that order, I'm guessing, but that's subject to change. So Pete, you're going to share your number 5 TV choice, then I am, then Gifford is. And then we're going to go through our 4s, our 3s, our 2s, our 1s, so we can share a little memory about each one and why we picked it. And then we're going to come to a consensus. And if we all had the same show picked, it might be easy to do. So,
Yeah.
what's your first thing you brought to the table tonight, Pete?
All right. My number 5 ranked show, Brad, I know you're going to love this one. It's a sitcom that we all watch. I don't know that Gifford ever has, though. We may have difficulty finding it, but I think you can find it if we search real hard. I'm going with My Two Dads.
Oh,
Oh. I have not ever seen that show.
that would be fun to watch.
Yeah.
Doesn't quite meet the criteria of all 3 of us, but it definitely is important to 2 of us, and we
Mhm.
think Gifford would like it.
I
Yeah.
like getting Gifford or somebody new involved that hasn't seen it, and that's part of the fun of it. What's your new reaction?
Another way to
You
go.
know,
So,
from a fresh
if you
set of
remember
eyes.
our very first season, we convinced Gifford to pick Better Off Dead when we did 1985.
Yep.
He had never seen it, but we both loved it so much he picked it, and now he saw it and he knows that classic movie.
Yes, I do.
It was a great episode.
Yeah.
All right, My Two Dads. My pick is one we have actually brought up more than once on this show, many, many times actually. I'm not sure it's my number 5 because I'm not sure if it'd be the most fun to go back and like watch and talk about, but it was definitely important to us, and that's Northern Exposure.
Nice.
I think we all watched that, right?
Yes.
Sunday nights.
Hey,
Yep.
I have a rule question here.
and if you have a
na-
crossover, you got to chime in here. So if one of you picked that,
That's
you gotta,
what I was going to ask. It's like we're sharing a brain here. That's exactly the question I was going to ask.
but does that mean you have it too, Pete?
It does not, but I was thinking that you might pick something that's on my list, and I was wondering how we're going to do that. So
Sure.
now I know.
Which one of you had Northern Exposure?
No, I did not.
I did
not have.
No.
Gifford, what is your number?
So my number 5. So again, you say whether or not we can see it. So one of the shows that I thought about, but I could not see where we could get it without buying episodes, and that was Dukes of Hazzard. So I do not have this on my list. So my number 5, a show that I did not watch as it came out, but rather in syndication, and I believe it was on like 10:30 at night or 11 o'clock after the late night shows or something. That is Married with Children.
Oh yes.
I would like to make an announcement. We have a
Ooh.
crossover.
All right. Excellent.
Did
I
I
do
do
not
that
have-
correctly?
I do not have
That-
it, but that is a good choice, and I would be on board if we end up going that direction, possibly.
Okay.
In fact, that was
I
my
also-
number one. That was my number 1 pick.
Oh, Pete's got a number 1 pick. So 4, 3, 2. That's Pete's number 1. All right,
All right.
I'm marking it down.
Well, actually, what we can keep track of is where we have them ranked. So that one would have
Yep.
5 points so far, actually. Then
Yep.
no, 6 points. No. That's right. Sorry.
Yeah, well, yeah, but then the lowest score wins. You want a low score,
Yep.
right?
What's
For-
your number 4 choice?
My number 4 choice is one, again, I haven't seen where you'll be able to get it, but it's a show that I absolutely loved. I'm pretty sure I probably watched every single episode when I was a kid. Alf.
Oh yeah,
Ah,
I bet that might be on Peacock. We'll have to check.
I think it may be. I think
There's a
I
lot
did
of-
see it on there.
Just
But
because
maybe
I'm a
not.
huge Max Wright fan. That's why I wanted to go with it.
So
would-
Elf is one that I've just seen clips of.
that's
Never
got
watched.
Factor and the no
full
NBC
episodes.
GIF.
Yep.
Well, and because the neighbor lady played quarterback for the Gophers, right?
Kelly Ackmanis.
Kelly Ackmanis, Mrs. Achmonic. We kept
No,
we
but
kept
she
getting
was,
those.
also Jerry
crossover.
Seinfeld's mom.
Correct. Yes.
Ah,
And by the way, if they come up, Seinfeld, we have a 2-part episode on, so that won't come up tonight because we've already covered it greatly. And I would do it again, but we have 2 out there already.
well, and we got Friends, we got Life in Pieces, we got Scrubs, we got How I Met Your Mother. I mean, we got a lot of great television already in our catalog.
I just thought of one we hadn't done yet. Maybe I think you know what one that didn't make my list is Modern Family, and I think I left it off because we did Life in Pieces, and they're so similar.
Sure.
I think it crossed my mind. Anyway, my number 4 is one I think I checked tonight. I'm not sure if you can get it anywhere, so it probably isn't going to win, but it sure deserves a mention because we brought it up a lot, especially lately, and that is Alice.
Alice. Yep.
And it would be fun to go back and watch Alice, and we've talked about it enough.
And yeah, I brought up on our show last week where our guest had a crush on Mel, which we had never ever heard before.
That's right. Well, it would be a couple weeks ago. It was
A couple weeks ago now.
Children of the 80s.
Oh, I thought that
With
was
Lindsay.
In the podcast timing.
they're all running together. They're all running
For
together.
the listener, it would have been about 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
Gifford, what's your number 4?
Again, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't believe we've done this yet. South Park.
Ooh.
My son is watching that all day today. I've been and yes, that's another great choice. Huh. I mean,
There's not much to choose from in their catalog by any means. That's only been on forever. But yeah, I enjoyed it greatly. Started watching it right away when it came out when I was in college, and obviously, have not kept up with it. But there's a lot of great stuff from those early seasons that
I did not have that down, but I definitely second that one. That we could find a couple good ones to do there. You know what? I think the movie crossed my mind too when I was making this list because we could go either direction. It's kind of like, so the question is, did you guys pick The Simpsons? Because technically,
I
but
did.
we talked about the episode, so I don't think we should have picked The Simpsons for this. But I don't know if you can.
No.
That's why I kind of left it off because we had discussed the Simpsons
we
movie
talked
and then
enough
all
about
things
The Simpsons.
Simpsons. So I
We
left
talked
it off.
about a lot of episodes, so yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, number 3 for Pete.
Gifford, I recall in 8th grade, 7th or 8th grade, Fayed. I don't know if you remember this, but do you remember when you and I did the Meepopian Dance of Joy?
Yes, I do. I do.
So, a lot of great memories from this show. I'm going with
Mhm.
Perfect Strangers.
That was one
We did it pretty
about.
well. We actually nailed it.
Uh-huh. I thought about that one. I did not look it up to see if it's available for viewing, but I did think about Perfect Strangers because that was a great one. Bronson Pinchot, just outstanding.
All right, my number 3 is one I would really love to watch too. Not sure, how we'd pick one and for this show and everything, but I would love to watch The Love Boat again, and we brought that up a few times. I think we all
That's
watched.
Exciting. That'd be exciting and new.
Exciting and new, just like this episode.
I'd be on board.
Yeah. Okay. What's your number 3?
My number 3 reminds me of my time at Triangle Fraternity and watching with the guys there, and that is News Radio.
Yeah. I don't know if Pete watched it, but I did.
I watched a few episodes. It didn't quite stick with me as much as it probably should have, but
yeah, it's a great show.
No, I'd go back to it.
Okay, number 2 to Pete.
I am very happy having this pick at the end. Brad, you might have
your
this
last
for sure.
one, right? Because your number 1 was Married with Children.
This is my last one. I think this is going to be the one that we're going to go with. This is the winner right here. I am talking about Golden Girls.
Ooh.
Oh, no. I don't know how I made my list because I don't know why I don't have that one down either.
It's one that we have brought up plenty of times on this show.
It is a good choice.
Yeah.
I did not think you were going to say that, though. I thought you were going to say something else, which I'll save for my number 1.
Ooh, suspense.
My number 2 is a show that I have not watched in forever, and it fits into the theme of my Alice and the Love Boat. I would love to watch Jeffersons again. I think we all watch Jeffersons. That's a classic sitcom.
Yep.
So that's my number 2.
All right. My number 2 is something we've talked about a few times on this show, is one of our favorites. But again, a show that I started and loved and did not finish, and that is Lost.
Oh, yes. Well, I have that earmarked for a specific year yet, so I think I will probably not vote for that one tonight.
Well, and that's the thing, because especially with TV, we haven't covered so many years that we can pick things out and still use it, especially for this category. So
that's true. Some of these shows we could work into a year we haven't done yet.
For sure.
All right. So Pete's number 1 was Married with Children. My number 1 is the first one that came to my mind that I think seems to me the obvious choice that all of us have watched, forever, and that's Cheers.
Well, didn't we cover Cheers on Thursday night?
I thought about that, but that was a Thursday night episode that we did, but it was a lost episode, or was it a lost episode?
No, because I was on it.
Okay.
Okay, I didn't even think of that. We talked about it we talked about the NBC Thursday night lineup, and we talked about 4 different shows that night. If you want to nix it, that's fine. I feel like I hadn't even thought of that. You caught me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I did think of
God, Brad, you're an idiot. We're going to remind you of this for the next 100 episodes.
Because that was Cosby and
Cheers
Night
Court, and Family Ties. So, I mean, of course, for me, I obviously didn't see those coming up, but Cheers is one that I have watched.
Right. You watched it in syndication even back then, even though you didn't have it because it was on.
Yep. And then watched it streaming. So
I think it's still a valid choice, even if we have technically, we didn't do the dive that we've done with other shows. But if you don't want to pick it, that's fine. Gifford, what's your number 1?
My number 1 is Modern Family. Those early episodes.
Yes, they are.
There are so many. And the one that springs to mind, I think, is season 2, the Halloween episode. The Halloween episodes are always a highlight of every season. But I believe this was the one where they hold a haunted house and Gloria is trying not to speak like a foreigner, and it's just absolutely hilarious the way she's trying to pull that off. And but that is my number one. Modern Family was such a great show when it started, and wouldn't mind talking about it.
All right. Well, what do you think, guys? So the only crossover we had is Married with Children. So like,
Yep.
do you go with that because that's two people, or do you
know,
go
I
with
would
Golden
love to
Girls
do
and Modern
Married.
Family?
I would love to do Married with Children. It's one that I've even said a couple of times on this show that I would love to do an episode of Married with Children. So I'd be all in on doing it.
I think because it's the one that does have the one crossover, it has the most votes, I guess, between the three of us.
And I'm not going to. The other thing is the third person could nix it and say no way, but I'm not going to do that with that show like I would with, let's say, Perfect Strangers. I would say no to. Okay, and I'm just double checking. It is on Hulu. Apparently, it says.
I did see it on.
I got Hulu. I can do that.
Okay, we're going to go with Married with Children for our TV show. A couple things we'll have to discuss about that off air, but we're going to talk Married with Children maybe next week.
Yeah.
Our TV show.
Okay.
Excellent.
Fun. But, we can put a pin in a lot of these other shows and say, okay, and maybe get to them someday down the line. Because we're not.
Well, and you could pick one of these shows as your one that you want in for the poll at the end of this.
I don't think I'll be picking
right.
a TV show, but it could come up again, yes.
Yep.
All right, for movies now, we're going to do that next. And the order is Me, Gift, Pete, right?
Yes.
That is correct.
All right. My number 5 movie is one of the funniest movies ever that I watched so many times as a kid. It's got this great comedic actor from the 80s this is the one where I truly fell in love with him because I was at the right age. And that is Coming to America.
Yeah, I knew you were going to have that one.
We have a crossover.
Ooh, okay. What number is yours?
That is number 4 for me.
So that would earn 3 points then.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. So
You want to say anything on it?
Well, it's unbelievable.
Okay.
It's definitely just, it's awesome. That boy's good.
Yeah, good and terrible.
Good and terrible. All of my movies, my 5 movies, don't really span a lot of time. They are all from 1987 through 1989. So
I have 3 from that period, yes.
So my number 5, this may be getting the vote of Pete's wife if I throw it up on the poll, and that is Dirty Dancing.
Did we not? Or we talked about doing that when we did that Sweetheart episode. Is that Sweetheart month?
It did not get picked.
New Kids on the Block.
Yep.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
And I was heartbroken that one of our 3 wives did not pick Dirty Dancing. So I'm going to include it here as my number 5.
You will score points with my wife then. Excellent.
You will score with his wife.
No. That's not what he said.
Hold on.
That's not what he said.
All right. Is it my turn?
Yes, sir.
Okay. My number 5 pick, I'm going to explain this. It is one that we did on a hidden episode, but I absolutely would love, we didn't have Gifford. I 100% would be all in on doing this one with Gifford because I would love to hear his opinion. He's never seen it. The Room.
Oh. What?
It's not
that's not a hidden episode. You did that one with Dave.
Yeah, it's out there.
Yep.
It's out there,
out
but
there.
Gifford just wasn't on it with us because that was a month where Dave picked Breaking Bad in The Room, and he picked the whole thing. So that really isn't going to work.
The only one.
All right. Well, I do have a
Breaking
backup
Bad.
then. I wasn't sure about that. I thought because it was with Dave, it became a hidden episode. But I do have a backup. Can I just throw out my backup
Please.
then for exactly this scenario? All right. I am going for Weekend at Bernie's.
Oh my!
Because the main star of Weekend at Bernie's, actually, shout out to him. He filmed a movie in Tyler, Minnesota, which is another movie that we could do, but it would be interesting. But I'm going with Farmer of the Year, filmed in Tyler. What's his name? Kaiser, Terry Kaiser.
Yeah, it sounds right.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So that's my pick, Weekend at Bernie's,
That
because
is
it was denied the room.
Unexpected choice there. That's for sure.
1989. Pete, I love that choice. I don't have it on
I
my
knew
list,
you would love the pick,
but I
It's-
love that choice.
I expected this exact reaction. I was thinking Gifford would think it's awesome and Brad would think it's stupid, but I'm going with it.
I didn't say it was stupid. I said it was
I
unexpected.
can tell.
I do believe that movie is from, in my opinion, one of the greatest years in movie history, 1989.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
It's one that's
I
joked about all
have
the time. You see memes about it, whatever, and it's there you go.
For my number 4 choice, I have the most serious movie on my list, but it is one of the all-timers for our group of friends and the most quoted, containing some of the greatest actors that we love, Cape Fear.
Oh,
I would love to
Ooh.
watch Cape Fear and discuss it. Could you be there?
well,
Are you my friend?
Yeah,
Counselor?
That's a really good choice.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. I do like it. I don't know if Gifford likes it as much, but with the rest of us, it's huge.
All right, now my number 4 is out there with Coming to America, so we'll move on to Pete.
Oh, that's right. Back to Pete.
Okay. I'm also going with my most serious movie on the list, and it's quite a turner. It's 180 degrees from Weekend at Bernie's, I'll tell you that. It's a movie that I loved it the first time I watched it, just because of how dramatic it is and the acting, everything about it. I'm talking about Seven.
Oh, yeah. You're a big fan of Seven.
What's in the
I am a big
box?
fan. What's in the box? That's
What's
right.
in the box?
That's a good movie. Pretty serious.
It is, and it is nothing like Weekend at Bernie's. I told
Oh,
you.
there's dead guys.
And I believe on our Lebowski episode, Pete did pick Morgan Freeman's character as one of the best, as your honorable mention.
Yeah.
He,
was on my list.
he mentioned him.
Yep. All right,
right.
Brad, what say you for number 3?
My number 3 is one I know that we're going to like, and it's from 1989. As you said, one of the greatest years of movies. It's going to be hard to turn this one down. Major League.
Ding, 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 ding.
Do we have another crossover?
I am not going to be saying any of my movie choices here. That is my number 2.
All right, so that would be 3. That'd be 7 points. So that one sounds like it's in the lead as of now.
Oh, God, that is such a great
You
one.
have Major League on your list?
I don't have Major League on my list. Am I
Okay.
next now to go? Because Gifford got.
Gifford is.
No,
I didn't know if you had any picks left.
I got my number 3, though. That was my number
Okay.
2, so I get my number 3. Going all the way back to 1987. Nice little holiday movie that is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
I had that one in my consideration.
Okay, you can't argue with that one. That's for sure, and it fits this show perfectly.
We're at
Yep.
Pete's number 3, right?
That's what I
yes,
have.
that's what I have. Our family's favorite movie, the one that we watch a couple of times a year, and we always watch the entire trilogy. Anytime we watch it, you can't just watch the one. I'm going with Back to the Future.
Mm-hmm.
Always
Yes.
a fun movie, and one that you could dive deep into for many different reasons.
Man.
All right.
All these are awesome.
My number 2 is the one that would rival Major League that I would want to do maybe even more, that I think might even be more fun. It is not from that span of years. It is from 1997, which we haven't done yet, so we could.
Oh, save
it.
that one. Yep.
That is Austin Powers.
Oh,
Ooh.
I like to live dangerously.
that's your middle name, isn't it?
I thought
Danger is your middle name?
one of you would have that on the list.
Well, and again, I kind of tried to just pick things that for years that we haven't done yet. So I didn't have Austin Powers on my list.
But we
Um,
Are you out of pick? You do have one pick left. Gifford, right?
But my number 2 is already off the board. So Pete, you are on the clock.
My last 2 are absolute bangers that if neither one of them get picked, it's going to be a big regret. So
We're
gonna have
shutting
to
this
do a
down?
Special episode. We're shutting it down. Absolutely. My number 2 pick is Fletch.
Hmm.
Oh, I love it. I didn't even think of that one for some reason. That's a great choice.
Yep.
I don't have it, but I love
Okay.
it.
Great pick. I don't have it either. My number one is
know.
still unsaid. We'll see if Brad.
Okay, I wonder if
has
we
it.
both have the same number one.
We might.
It's from 1987.
We have it.
Do we have He's Only Mostly Dead,
Yes.
The Princess Bride?
Yes.
We both have that as number one.
That is my number one.
I guess that's going to be the one. There's no way it can be topped.
As
If
you
I only
wish.
had a wheelbarrow, now that'd be something.
Oh my God, let's do it right now. Are we going with the rule then that is the pick? I mean, two of us had it number one, I guess. So
Pete has
Why
it
not?
number one.
I'm the odd man out, and I have no objections to it. So I think we should go.
just to follow up too, that is from a year that we have already done. So that's another good reason to take. Okay, The Princess Bride is coming soon,
Well,
baby.
then, do we want?
Okay,
We got to hear
but-
Pete's number one.
My number one pick
Oh,
is
sorry.
this is one that is kind of similar to one that we've done in the past, but it is its own movie for sure. I'm going with Airplane.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Good choice. Good number one.
We've already done Naked Gun, which is a little, it's kind of the same type of humor and everything, but it certainly would not be a blocker for doing
Well,
Certainly
it.
when we
can't
did
go different.
1980, I assumed we would do Airplane as your choice. What did you pick? I don't even remember because how did you not pick it?
I don't.
We did The
I don't
Jerk,
recall.
which was in 79. We
I
did
picked
Caddyshack,
Caddyshack. Yep.
and you picked.
Oh, I can't remember.
What's the other great movie from 19? Oh no, Pete picked Caddyshack. No, because you picked Gifford. You picked The Empire's. Nope, that was
Nope.
Return of the Jedi. All right.
Yep.
It
I'm
doesn't
pretty sure I
matter.
had Caddyshack.
Let's
But
move
anyway,
on.
that's that again. Well, all 15. Well, I shouldn't say 15. All the movies that we mentioned are, God, they're just all so great.
All right.
But The
so-
Princess Bride is going to be great. Do you guys want to just do The Princess Bride right now and just get
And
it
it
over
was-
with? I think we
I
should
could
without
do it.
watching.
I could do it, and it was an obvious choice. I mean, come
Yeah.
on. They're
How
all.
did
I
we
mean,
not-
Major League.
How did we not pick Princess Bride in 87? I mean, I picked Hysteria, but I'm happy with that pick. But holy cow, it's amazing the stuff that's still available
Oh,
out of
Pete
years we've done.
picked. I had to satisfy my brain here. Pete picked Trivial Pursuit and board games
Oh.
in 1980.
Oh,
And that was
what a
awesome.
And
pick.
more episode. It was brilliant. It was a great.
That was
episode.
that was a fun episode, though.
It was.
All right. I had to
Okay.
satisfy my brain. That's
So,
what
we
we
got
do on Pop. We
Mansfield-
satisfy your brain on Pop
Mhm.
Culture Yearbook.
Married with Children and The Princess Bride. Now we are going to pick an album that we have not yet discussed, and this is good because these are our mostly highly rated, most listened to episodes. So we got to pick good one here.
Yep.
Gifford, you have the first thing to throw out.
All right, this one, I know we're trying to pick stuff that everybody would really, really get into, but I listened to this album a ton. I'm going to throw it out there from 1993. I'm going to go with No Time to Kill from Clint Black. I don't know if you guys listened to that very much, but country was
I
a big
actually
thing for
did.
me
I
growing
had
up.
that. I had that album and I listened to it, or I had
Yep.
that CD.
I
And
liked Clint. Yes.
Yeah. So I know you guys listened to country back then too, and I
have a
know
country
it's
album on my list.
Okay.
I actually thought about one that I never really bought, but that you would want, and I'm wondering if you're going to have more country coming later because
Mhm.
I got to believe there's another one coming.
Mhm.
But I did like Clint Black, and so that's fine.
All right.
On the topic of country,
Mhm.
I am going with the first CD I ever owned that I received for Christmas along with my CD player. Garth Brooks, "Ropin' the Wind."
Oh, Rope in the Wind. That's a great album.
That's
I don't
got a
know if
lot
I'm-
of really good songs on it.
Something up
Mm,
later,
does.
but I don't have any of the Garth Brooks. I almost put No Fences on my list because I knew it'd be big.
Mhm.
I wonder if Gifford's
I
going to
actually
have.
think "Ropin' the Wind" top to bottom is a better overall album than "No Fences."
Which one has
And that's a
Shane-
good reason to include it on your list.
It's got "Shameless." It has the river.
Is the Thunder
uh,
Rolls on it?
I think the Thunder Rolls was
No,
that
I
on
thought
too?
Thunder Rolls, I think, is on No Fences.
Okay, well those are my two favorite songs, so then that doesn't.
Yeah.
all right.
All right, well, I have a country one coming, but my fifth choice, I wanted to include a grunge type. And some people would argue they're not grunge, whatever, blah, blah, blah. They all came out around the same time. We all loved them. So we didn't ever do Nirvana, Nevermind, but we did talk about Nirvana, so I didn't want to pick that. I'm picking the album that I think is maybe the best album, beginning to end, all of them from that time period, and that is Smashing Pumpkins' Siamese Dream.
Nice.
So that was my grunge alternative entry from high school.
I
Excellent.
got.
I thought he would like that a little more. I mean, Jesus.
No, that's a good one. I have I have two that would fit that genre on my list.
Sure.
I'll say that.
Okay.
Well, and I will stay in that genre. An album that I still can't believe that I never bought, but banger after banger, and that is 10 by Pearl Jam.
We got a crossover. We
All
have
right.
that's my number one pick.
Ah, Pete's
Number one.
one.
Okay.
All right.
I thought about picking it, and I went with the Smashing Pumpkins instead.
All right.
Are we to me?
It's my turn now. I'm after
Yes, it
GIF
is.
on this one, right?
Right.
Yep.
I'm
after me on
going
all
with one that I loved back then, and I got into it again last summer. I listened to it a few times. I'm going with Beastie Boys' "License to Ill."
Oh, nice.
That's a tape I had as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Listened to it all the time.
Yep.
It's a fun one, that's for sure.
All
right, so my number 4 is my country entry, and this actually isn't my favorite album personally of this artist, but it's the one I thought fit best with the three of us and the time period, and that is Dwight Yoakam, "This Time."
That's a good one.
That is a great one.
I personally like Gone better, but This Time is also great, and it was our high school album that we all, I mean, Fast as You is on there. That's all you got to know about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay, so when we do, we pick our favorite albums or things like that when it comes to our top picks or drafts at the beginning of the month. I never pick a greatest hits, but I'm going to break my own rule here. And with my number 3, I am going with "Can't Have Nothing Nice" from the Gear Daddies.
Well, I don't even know if that's a greatest hits. It's
Well,
more
it combines
yeah.
their 2 albums basically.
It's
the
got
two
other stuff on
ones.
it.
But yeah, so I'm going with that one. Thanks to Brad and my friends in college from Blue Earth, Minnesota, getting me into the Gear Daddies. Listen to that one a lot. It's still have it on CD. It was in the car right now in Courtney's car, and just absolutely love that album.
It kind of surprises me. We didn't do Gear Daddies at all when we did our Minnesota month at one time, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to.
I think they
recall
came
that.
up in my Minnesota game.
Yep.
I had them included.
Yep.
In the music game.
Mm-hmm.
I
that's a
just
good
heard
one.
"Dream Vacation" on my Apple Music the other day.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Load the dog and
Cruise down Interstate
Oregon
94.
load the dog and load the car.
Roll down Interstate 94.
Yeah.
Roll down Interstate. Yes.
Get it
Dream
right.
Vacation in the Dells.
I'm up. I'm going with Stone Temple Pilots' "Purple."
Ah.
I loved that album. Listen to it.
TP.
Not the first one. 4 was
Yes,
the
that's
first.
correct. Yep, they're both good, but this was more my favorite of the two.
All right, the next one I'm picking. It's probably it's the slowest one we've brought up, but it was just massive. It was massive for us as seniors in high school. I don't know if we all didn't own it. We listened to it all the time, and that is Counting Crows, "August and Everything After."
Yep. I was looking at that one, and I almost threw it on the list.
I kind of thought that one would be something you might consider.
Excellent. All right. So my number 2, this is where I'm bringing in Garth Brooks, and I am going with "No Fences" from 1990.
All right.
So we have the one crossover so far, but we also have a crossover artist, which
Correct.
might make it more interesting for picking here.
Yeah, it could. My last one, actually, this is my second overall because I got one knocked off already. I'm going with one of the greatest albums of all time, AC/DC, Back in Black.
Oh man, great
banger after banger on that one.
Mm-hmm. That is a great pick.
Classic entry. Speaking of greatest hits, I almost added Journey greatest hits to my list because that was everybody had it. It was just
right.
Miss it. Are we back to Gifford?
No, up to you.
Oh, okay. Well, instead of that from the 80s, I picked one that I had on CD later, but it came out in 1987 and was one of the biggest albums of the decade, and that is George Michael's Faith. Uh-oh, you got that one?
Got a crossover?
That, sir, is my number one pick.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
A 2 and a 1.
That's a little bit of a surprise.
I
nothing
can't
wrong
tell
with the
you.
album. I wouldn't have expected that to be, of all albums in history that we have not done on this show, I wouldn't have expected that to be the winner.
I can't tell you how happy I am that you have that as your number 2, because when I thought about which albums to do, that was the first thing that sprung to mind for me. I bought the CD from you, Brad.
Oh, that's right.
I still have it, and I listened to it, and I love it. And yeah, so that's my number 1 pick. Brad, you can go ahead and tell us your number 1 is Pete.
All we got left
off
is my
list.
number 1, right?
Yep.
That's it.
Okay, well, my number 1 is another one I thought somebody might mention because it's also from 87. So speaking at the beginning of the show, Surely You Can't Be Serious, he brought up, they do their pit 2 things against each other, and they did In Excess's Kick, which is my number 1, against George Michael's Faith.
Mm-hmm.
It's my number 2. So you could go to their show and listen to both those episodes, see which one they liked better. And I want to give them credit because that's really when Faith kind of re-entered my consciousness and I realized how great it was. Mm-hmm. And ever since I listened to that a year ago or whatever, it's been in my head that is a great album. And so
there was
I think In Excess Kick number 1, but
there was a really good documentary on George Michael that I think Jenny and I watched maybe about a year ago, and it was fantastic. You should go check it out. We actually just finished the Bon Jovi documentary that's on. That was good too. Which Excellent. Bon Jovi not even mentioned on that's another one.
I was going to throw in New Jersey because that was one that I listened to all the time, along with Hysteria and Open Up and Say Ah.
Would have been 1.
But Slippery When Wet would have been, good to go.
So I'm assuming we're going with George Michael Faith then. We really hurt Gifford's feelings if we don't, right?
Well, it's a number 1 and a number 2.
We got Faith, Garth Brooks, and we got Pearl Jam as our top 3 choices.
Mm-hmm.
I have no objection, Your Honor.
Excellent.
You know what we should do? Speaking of Garth Brooks, Dwight Yoakam, Clint Black, whatever. I'd love to do an 80s or a 90s or both, like an 80s country and 90s country, and we could center it around, one of those albums and then talk about other stuff too. So put a pin in that idea.
Yes, sir.
We could do the same thing with grunge.
Oh, for sure. Easily.
Like early 90s grunge alternative albums that we listened to nonstop in high school. So anyway, Princess Bride, Married with Children, George Michael's Faith.
2 of my number 1s and a number 5 for me. I'm pretty happy.
Now we are.
I think each of us got a number 1. I think, right? Did you have Princess Bride number? Yeah, so it worked out. So Married with Children is my number 1. Yep. So everybody's happy.
I'm ecstatic.
Honestly, my TV list, I like your guys' a lot of them better than mine. I apparently didn't put a lot of thought into mine, so I'm fine with not even getting one that I had picked.
So
I would have rather done South Park or the Golden Girls or News Radio or Modern Family. I would have rather done any of those pretty much than most of the ones I had picked. So
sure. So now we will pick. Each of us will get one thing to put out on the Twitter poll as just something that the people can vote on for us to do.
And it can come from any category.
Correct. And it doesn't need to be. We don't need to do one TV, one movie, and one album, right? We can
be all albums if
all albums.
Your pick is your pick.
Yep. All right. So why don't we go back to our first rotation here? We started with shows, so we'll go Pete, Brad, and then me. Pete, what would you like to throw out there for the voters to listeners to vote on?
I'm debating here, but and it's both in the music category between AC/DC, Back in Black, or Beastie Boys. But I'm going to go with AC/DC.
Okay. Gonna highlight that.
I think that's going to be more popular with the voters. That's why.
The music, again, as Brad said, our music episodes tend to get pretty good listenership, so that's a good.
Well, I mean, between those two albums, I mean, both are going to be amazing. But I just think AC/DC might be a little bit more of a fan favorite overall.
I don't know if Gifford's interested because I don't really have a strong choice yet, but we could make a gentleman's agreement to all pick an album if you want to do that. Or are you leaning some other way, Giff?
I am leaning a different way for my. You mean what I'm going to throw out there for a pick?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm probably not going to pick an album then. I'm going to pick. I'm going. Boy. I'm between two movies right now.
Yeah, and I'm hoping you pick the other one. I'm between two movies. I hope you pick the other one so I can get both of them.
It's not going to be. I don't think. I'm trying to decide. You want to pick first?
No, you go ahead. There's so many great movies in here.
All right, I'm gonna pick. I'm gonna go with the most different movie on my list. I'm gonna pick Cape Fear. I want to see. I'm gonna pick Cape Fear because I want to throw something different out there.
Okay.
And if it got voted, I would just love that. I'd love to watch it again.
I thought you might pick that.
My other choice, by the way, was Austin Powers. I really want to do Austin. It's really bad.
I gotcha. Well, so when I put these lists together, I did movies first. So that was the easiest one for me. It was just like we haven't done this one. I'm going back to 1989. I'm going to go with Major League.
That's what I figured. Were you between that and Coming to America?
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Oh, okay. All right, so a variety there. AC/DC, Cape Fear, Major League. That'll be a fun one. Hopefully we can get a bunch of people to vote because our votes have been dying down lately. It's been kind of annoying. If you're listening to this, please vote.
Yeah, all you gotta do it.
It really makes us more excited about this whole thing. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
What we should probably do when we put that poll out is just do a ramp up to it, like, hey, tomorrow, coming up in 2 days, vote on, and then because you only get a day to vote, right? Like, that's about it.
Get 1 day. It's just like election day. Election day is 1 day.
This is true,
and that's it.
Yeah. So that'll be fun to see. And again, I'm happy with not only the three that we've got, but I'm excited to see what gets picked by the voters, and excited to do whatever we gets picked there. So that'll be fun.
It'll tell us a little something about our audience, that's for sure. We're always looking to find out more about our audience.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right.
All right. So that was fun. I think we did it without any major screw ups.
Yep. I think we did all right.
Most unplanned episode.
Absolutely.
Hey, Gifford, speaking of banger after banger, what are you in the mood for right now?
Log jabbing.
You know what? Yes, but I'd be interested in some log jabbing to Preacher Row.
To Preacher Row.
Yes. The most versatile band in the universe, because obviously they're the answer to a lot of questions out there. So
that's true.
Yeah.
The only way to log jam is standing on your own 2 feet.
That is correct.
All right. Good. I hope we're gonna have fun this month. Hopefully people will listen and have fun with us.
Yeah. Have fun storming the castle.
Bye.
Bye.
to fear. No one's here to comfort me. Sorry for what I have done. Sorry that your song is gone. 7 steps and it will be my last. And start tell me on my path. I turn and I look to you. I'm scared but there's nothing I can do. Hang high if you want to.